I'm George Narok from Trusted Society of Human Rights Alliance, and we are here today because of a matter in regard to Rift Valley Central Water Sewages Company on its leadership. There is a confusion there. You must have seen today in today's newspaper, The Standard, that there are two CEOs fighting over this one position to lead the said public institution, and it is a public outcry, and that's why we're here today. There is a contract. There is Dr. Weldon Kirui. It's called Engineer Weldon Kirui. Wendot, whose contract came to an end in 2021, and he was paid gratuity over the same because his term came to an end. He went to court because he was never contented over the same. His term, he wanted to renew his term based on the law, but unfortunately the board didn't renew his term, and he went, and that's why he was paid gratuity 2.4 million. Now, recently, because there was a case which he filed in the labor court, petition number E0014 of 2021, which the said court gave a ruling that it did not have jurisdiction to hear that matter. He never appealed, and instead he filed another petition this year, 2 years later. So there is a witch hunt over the leadership based on some political inclination. And we are saying today here that we gave ourselves a constitution 2010. And that constitution is the people are supreme and give priority to the people of Kenya. There is nothing like a tribal inclinations which is being recruited by the people and the leadership in the said organization. We are not contented, and majority of these people, they are not only my community, there are also other tribes here, and we are not happy on how one, Mr. Chelugui, who is the Minister for Cooperative, was captured in a certain rally in a public barasa.
3 weeks ago.
Actually 3 weeks ago, informing his community that one, Weldon, was actually a victim of persecution. So I don't know, because how was he persecuted? This is a political move to sweep the said organization and to remove all other tribes, if we may call it, so that we have one tribe continuing to manage the same institution right from the sweeper to the top. In fact, I can say it is an ethnic-based institution being created, like all others which we have witnessed. If you look at the sweeper, if you look at the people managing the gates who are actually security officers, and to the secretaries, they are all from one ethnic community. Does it mean that if indeed number one comes from your community, it means you must manage such institution to erode our public institution from our diversity cultures as the people of Kenya? We are standing behind the current CEO, who happens to be serving his first term, and his term is going to come to an end next year. If they are ready to take over, let them wait, because we cannot manage to have two CEOs fighting over the same position. What is so unique here? I am sure this is greed and this is impunity, and we cannot entertain. It must stop. And we are warning Chelugui. He is not a minister in the Ministry of Water and Irrigation. He is a minister for cooperative. How dare is he going to a public barasa and start mentioning the name of somebody who has retired? Then within a short time, he's back with some goons. This is not Moi era, unless you define for ourselves, so that, because this is an organization which covers 3 counties. 3 counties, you can even read for yourself. And we are going to move to court tomorrow, offer a petition to petition him over suitability to hold public office.
My name is David Dikir. I'm a resident in Nakuru. We are a public spirited Kenyans and resident of this town who are consumers of water services and therefore direct stakeholders in the water sector. We regret the event of last Friday, 17 February 2023, when there were attempts by a capable of power-hungry politicians from Balingo, led by engineer Mr. Wendot, who are at advanced stage in auctioning a coup at the Central Rift Valley Waterworks premises, are now aided by fraudulent orders as issued by the Justice Chimtei, who are suspect has been roped into the grand scheme of events. We, as the Kenyan youth in the town, we stand with the role of law and due process, safeguarding the constitution to protect engineer Samuel Oruma, the current CEO, from these apparent and obvious political machinations. We will pursue justice for one of our own through the courts. And we want to ask our leaders, especially the national leaders, to take care of this. Because we thought we believe and have a lot of trust in Kenyan's leadership now, led by Dr. William Samoei Ruto, that Central Rift Valley cannot be reduced to be a Baringo village or a market. We cannot have one ethnicity under the same institution from the sweeper up to the top. We are just asking. We have a sitting CEO, that is Samuel Oruma, and we have the standing CEO, the former CEO, who have already consumed the gratitude. He has retired from the public. If he is interested, because on Friday he visited the place with goons and saying that his career cannot be cut off, and we are also saying as a Kenyan youth, Oruma career cannot be cut off. Na tunasema hivi, kwa jamii yetu, kwa hii recent Rift Valley ina cover 23 counties. Lakini among the 23 counties, we have 5 counties. Among these 5 counties, we have Nakuru, Narok, Laikipia, and Nyandarua and Bomet. Kama ni kuangalia mambo ya balance ya ethnicity, hata sisi wa Masai tuko kwa map. So tunaomba rais wetu na Gachagua, our deputy president, to look on this matter na waangalie, kwa sababu justice must be served. Justice delayed is justice denied.
My name is Alan Mingati, an advocate. We are perturbed by the kind of orders that were issued by the court in Nakuru. There are orders that were served upon one of the directors, or rather the CEO of Rift Valley Water Company. The orders were to the effect that the board plus all the members that were employed by the board are in the office illegally, and the orders were obtained ex parte. And we are wondering how such kind of orders, which in its nature are final orders, can be issued by a court, a competent court, ex parte. The orders indicates that the current CEO, who is Oruma, is in the office illegally. And Oruma himself is not a party in that suit. So we are wondering how a court sitting in Nakuru can issue such adverse orders which are final in nature in an ex parte stage. We are hereby calling upon the leadership of this country to look into these issues, because this is a government agency. It's not a village self-help group. It's not a personal company where someone can just decide in the morning to just wake up, get orders from the court, and try to use the goons, people who are idle in this country, to get access to a government office. So we are sending a warning to such people, and especially the person behind everything. We know what is happening. This is politically instigated, and we cannot sit down for that. We have already started the legal process of setting aside the orders. We have also started other means to make sure that the person who are entitled to be in that office are properly in office. Mr. Oruma is not a party to the proceedings. So if these orders were even to be implemented, or rather to be enforced, who will you enforce against? Sending goons cannot be a solution. We have enough goons, people who are ready to fight for the right direction for this country to follow. And if that is the way to go, I think we are ready for it. And we must send a warning to the people trying to use the youth of this country for a wrong cause. We want to tell you that this is not the time. As somebody was mentioning that this country is like a company of shareholders. We want to tell you that every Kenyan is a shareholder to this country. Every Kenyan deserves better services. Every Kenyan deserves a good legal process. You cannot just condemn someone unheard and purport to be serving justice. This is injustice. This is pure injustice, and we are saying that is not going to happen in our watch. We will fight to the last breath.
Engineer James Kipuri, and I would like to join my colleagues on what they have said. I want to say that we are condemning this matter with the strongest term possible, and I would like to urge my friend and my colleague in the engineering sector, Engineer Wendot. The Engineer Board of Kenya has ethics, and there is no any statement in the ethics of Engineers Board of Kenya that allows an engineer of the caliber of Wendot to take an office through goonship, through hooliganism. I would like also to warn CS Chelugui. I want to tell him that Rift Valley Water is not a Baringo CBO. It's not a Marigat CBO. And if you want to bring back a CEO who has retired, let him wait until the term of Engineer Oruma ends next year, December. Then he can come in. The government of Kenya, under the leadership of His Excellency, His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto, was formed through accumulation of votes from all the tribes, as the Maasai included. Let him know that we also created this government. We also made this government to be in place. And as a community, we also want to deserve a right, an equal share like any other community. That is not, this is not a government that should operate offices, national offices through a back door. And we want to tell Wendot, if you want to come back to the office, let him follow the right procedure. Let him wait for the term of Engineer Oroma to end so that he can come in. And we are also sending a warning that if they are destroying the CEO right now, what about any other community? If you want to take the job from the sweeper to the CEO, what about the rest of the communities which this agency covers? For the rest of the counties, 23 counties, or 5 counties for that matter. Where are the other communities? And I hope every Kenyan is seeing this, and we want justice and equity for every community. And justice and equity should be applied for this first case for Engineer Samuel Oroma.